and take it away so that we can get started on time and be able to have you do your little lunch and learn and roll away from Scotty's call super inspired and ready to go conquer the world. So for those of you who don't know Scotty, you've never met him before, he is a ridiculous coach. He's been in the top 10. He was the top male coach last year. He is 9-star in One Business Center, 8-star in another. He's a $1 million earner with Beachbody and a Success Club All-Star legend. And honestly, one of my favorite people ever. As you saw probably in the promotion picture, he is a dad of 5. And him and his wife, Gabby, are like my personal heroes because I struggle with the thought of too. But it's been really cool to see his progression and starting as someone who had no background in network marketing, no background in any type of online social media business. He just started as a product of the product. And it actually took me, I think it was 9 months before you actually ended up signing up as a coach with me asking over and over and over again. And because I saw his transformation on YouTube. And finally, eventually he did jump in, and when he did, he went all in. And I think that's what I see the difference between him and a lot of coaches is that he didn't just dip his toe and see if it worked. You know, he made sure that he gave his all to see if this was something he could be able to do. And he had a very strong why, which he talks a lot about. If you've ever been on YouTube, he has a bazillion videos on every single topic that you can think of, but he talks a lot about wanting to be able to be there to pick up his kids from the bus stop and be able to be present in their life. And then as that started to become a reality, or first it was to bring up home Gabby, right? And then it was to do the bus stopping. And then it became to, be able to retire his parents. And it's just continued to expand in what he's believed was possible and then was able to achieve. And I think a lot of that's been, or in fact, I know a lot of it's been through personal development and becoming the kind of person that he wanted to become through taking action. And so he's going to talk a little bit about what does success really mean. I know he's polled the audience and gotten a lot of opinions. So Scotty, I won't take any more time. I'll go ahead and pass it over to you and roll with it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, hey, thanks, Lindsay, for that awesome introduction. I'm excited to talk today. I've been thinking a lot about this topic, about what does success really mean, because one of the things that I really want for you guys is that you know what it is that you want out of your life. You know what success is, what the success of definition means. How can you know if you're moving in the right direction of your goals? And, we were able to, just to lead into this a little bit, and I'll go into some of my story parts like Lindsay talked about, but to lead into this, we had an event in East Idaho last week, or this past weekend. We had over 600 people with Sagi and Barbie. We did a live masters hammer and chisel workout. We had 8 amazing speakers, and the topic I'm speaking on today is the one I spoke on there, but you guys get about an extra 15 minutes. So I had to keep it to 15 to 18 minutes there. I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes today, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more. I really love that Lindsay calls this the lunch and learn. It's I wrote that down right here. As a great idea, lunch and learn. So always learning as a coach, it's an important thing to know. And I want you guys to know that I will be a coach for 5 years come this April. But it still seems like I'm a brand new coach. So I want you guys to understand that about me. Lindsay asked me as we started this call, how is it having 5 kids? You guys seem like you got it in a flow down. And I'm like, no, it's like a hot mess in here. So it's one of those things, just like parenting, your Beachbody business, it's something you're always learning, growing, and getting better at, I guess, every single day, if your focus is on that, on becoming better. So I'm not usually one, if you watch my YouTube channel, like Lindsay said, not quite a trillion or billion, but we got 1,100 videos. I'm not used to using slides. I'm used to just talking like this. And that's something that I believe is unique or special, I guess, about my message, is that I don't care what people think about me. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable about parts of my life and my story. And I'm not super educated, but I love to just share from the heart. And I think that's a powerful thing. And also something I learned right in this book, The World's Greatest Salesman, that you got to have love for people, love for what you do. And that'll kind of lead into what I'm going to talk to you guys about success. I mean, like I said, I don't use slides often, but I'm going to use some today so I can really illustrate and you guys can get some images in your mind about the things I'm going to talk about today. So let me hit these slides real quick, and let's see, it just did something super weird. I might have to find where to get rid of that. Okay, let me try again. Desktop, start screen share. Okay, the screen is not working. Dang it. I will just share then without slides. So give me 1 second. Just doing something super weird, but we will figure it out as we go. So the first image that I had that I want to share was a picture of Sagi and I up on stage. And it says, and I put a quote on there, a thought that I was having. It says, the second that God put a desire or dream in your heart, he lined up everything that you need to help bring it into your life. So I've always been somebody that had a lot of goals and dreams and ambitions in my life of what I wanted to accomplish. I just never really knew how to accomplish them. But more importantly than that, I didn't really have direction or purpose that kept me in line towards moving towards those goals and dreams I had. Like, I wanted to be a pro baseball player. At one point, I wanted to be like a rock star, a musician, and play on stage in front of thousands of people. Those are all things that I wanted, but I never truly dialed in my purpose on why that would be important to me. So I never stayed true to that. So like Lindsay said, over the past 5 years, we've been able to accomplish a lot with Team Beachbody, a lot of goals and dreams, outside of Team Beachbody. Being a full-time parent is absolutely something that you can't put a price on. But even thinking outside of that, like I do play in a band now, and I have for the past 5-6 years, but we've been able to play with bands that I dreamed of like playing with, like POD, like a couple weeks ago, Powerman 5000, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. We get to play all these awesome shows. We got to open up for these bands, and we created an album, and now we're working on our second album, which, by the way, is going to be better than the first. But these are all things like I would have given up on them before because I never really had a purpose in these things. And a cool thing I want you guys to understand is, like, I'll talk about success today, but I want you guys to think outside the box, outside of just Team Beachbody, and look at other areas of your life as well where you need to become more successful or create more for your life in that aspect. So, as I talk about these things, 5 years before Team Beachbody, before meeting Lindsay, I didn't have much direction in my life. I didn't know exactly what I wanted. And I had this little image of this guy walking around with a carrot hanging out, dangling out in front of him, right? And that's how I walked around life. I took whatever life threw at me. I was like a boat without sails, just drifting wanderlessly through life. And I know many of you guys are like that, not just in your Beachbody business, but in life in general. And the one thing that I want you guys to get away from this, and I say the one thing, and I say that on all my team calls, the one thing, but I'm going to actually give you like 5 things. But one of the things I want you guys to get when you leave this call today is that you really discover what it is that you want out of your life, not just your Team Beachbody business. Like, what do you want for your marriage? What do you want for your children? Where do you want to live? How do you want to spend your time? What do you want to do for work? Like, how many hours, if you could ideally just choose what you want to do with your day, how many hours would you work? What level do you want your health? How healthy do you want to be? What do you want your body to be like? How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? How much money do you want to make? How much do you want in your retirement account? What year do you want to retire? At what age do you retire? When do you retire? When do you want, where do you want to go? And how long do you want to go for? Like, these are all like dialed in things that you want for your life. Like, with your children, like, I have 5 kids. Like, how do you want to spend your day? How do you want to raise your kids? What do you want from your kids? And these are all things that many of us don't even really know. And like one of my mentors that I follow often says, stop waking up like an accident. And that was a wake-up call for me. And you guys need to, just like I did and Lindsay did and any of these successful leaders that you've seen or followed, you need to stop waking up like an accident and decide what it is that you truly want out of your life. And once you discover what that is that you want out of your life, and we're going to call it today your purpose, spend the rest of your waking days, the rest of your life going after that. So many of you guys may have seen some of my YouTube channels, or if you follow me on Facebook, every single morning of my life, I write like an inspirational post, or I try to teach something that will add value to people. So you're on this call, you're spending this lunch and learn break because you want to improve your life. And I want to give you validation and say how proud I am for you for giving that time, because time is the most valuable asset and you're willing to learn. And like they say, birds of a feather flock together. You become like the 5 people that you most associate with. So I'm proud of you guys for being on this call today. And, as I got up on that stage and I get on like a YouTube video or on Facebook or for this call right now, you guys can tell I speak with confidence and passion and authority on the subjects that I teach or that I talk about, whether it's this one or whether it's one of the other video channels. one of my on my video channel, one of the videos that I make, quite a few times a week. But why is it that I can get up here and speak with such confidence and passion and authority on this subject? And it's, like Lindsay said, I've read and listened to at least 400 books in the past 5 years. Listened to numerous podcasts, gone to multiple seminars. But the things that I'm talking about today, why I'm so passionate, is not because of something I learned in these books or these seminars or from a team call. It's because I'm speaking directly about my life. And I wish I had the slides, because right here is a picture of my 5 children. I have Keena, Mila, Ellie, Poppy, and Malik. The age ranges from 6 months up to 9 years. And I'm passionate about speaking with you guys because I am talking about my life. I want you guys to know that a few things about me as I lead into teaching you guys how to develop and find your purpose. Guys, I dropped out of BYU, Idaho. So I'm a college dropout. And the way I was raised, there's no reason that I should have been a college dropout. With the great parents that I had, the great church that I went into, the great friends that I had no business being a college dropout. After dropping out of college, I got engaged to a girl. We had invitations printed out, and that fell through, and we didn't end up getting married. I never thought I'd be in a position like that, but it's a part of my life. It's part of my story. After that, I felt sorry for myself, which I know many of us on this call have felt sorry for ourselves before. I began to spin myself further and further into places that I shouldn't have been. Guys, I slept on a floor in a crack house doing cocaine every single day for $20 a month. I shared a room with 3 other guys for $20 a month, and there was probably 20 to 30 people at any time living in that house between the ages of 17 and 25. I had no business living in a drug home like that, drinking and doing cocaine every single day. I had no business being in a place like that. I lived in Mexico, or I slept in Mexico on a concrete floor in an abandoned house in Ensenada, and there's like cockroaches and mice across the floor at night, and I could hear gunshots, and I had no business being in a place like that, being the way that I was raised. If you guys don't know, growing up religious, you don't get pregnant before you're married, right? And Gabby and I got pregnant before we got married with our first daughter, Keena, and we ended up having her she was born with the help of Medicare and WIC, so government support. I never thought with the way that I was growing up and raised that I would end up in a position or a place like that, but I did, and it's a part of my life and a part of my story. And I used to be afraid to share those things about myself because I was afraid of what people thought about me. But if you think about Les Brown, or if you've heard of Les Brown, he says, and that made a huge difference on my life, he said, people's opinions of you does not define your reality. So, I was born with great parents. I served a mission for my church, and then I ended up in all these places, dropped out of college, doing drugs, and hanging out with people that I shouldn't have been with. So it was like a story I told myself. Maybe, Scotty, you deserve all these things, because as I left those situations, I went back to school, became a dental lab technician at a technical college, and the first job that I got, I worked 2 months right out of school. I got this new school loan, in the school that I worked 2 months, and in the company or the business that I was working for was going out of business without telling us. So I worked 2 full months right out of school without getting paid, and got left to find the first job that I could find. So there I am, like that boat wandering, drifting without direction. I took the first job that I could, and that's what I've done my whole life. And so I always used to tell myself, Scotty, maybe you deserve all of this because of the bad choices or the poor choices that you made in your past. You deserve all of this stuff, all this crap that's happening to you. It's just what you have to deal with it, because you deserve this for some of the choices that you've made. And what I want you guys to know, these were stories that I was making up about myself, so to keep me from living my God-given purpose. There were excuses, and like I've heard Lindsay talk about it, but once I decided to let go of those excuses and let God take more control and authority in my life, I began to see my life begin to transform and to change. Like, many people don't know this, and many people don't know exactly how the Mormon church or the LDS church works, but I hadn't been to church for 6-7 years. And it was just during my first P90X transformation that Gabby and I actually went back to church, went with our children, and we were sealed in the temple in 2010. So I really, truly did begin to let God take more of a role in my life as I began my journey as a coach. So I know many of you guys, and I'm going to say this because I've seen it on my posts, because I write these inspirational posts all the time. I make my YouTube channel, and for the most part, I get positive impact. Like, I really need to hear this thing. But sometimes I get those ones that are negative. Or it says something like, if I was successful, Scotty, or if I had a business like you did, or they say something like, like, it's easy to see why you're so happy today and can write these amazing posts because Beachbody pays you a lot of money, right? Guys, is that what success truly means to you? What I want from you guys today is that you understand what success means. I don't even want to use the word success. I'm going to use the word, let's use the word happiness, joy, right? Fulfillment. When you're happy and you have joy in your life and you're fulfilled, that to me is success. And I'm going to give you guys a simple example. Outside of Beachbody, so you can think outside the box as your role as a parent, or whether you're a school teacher, or whether you teach at your church, or whether it is for your Beachbody business. But success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. So success is not a rank. It's not a position in Beachbody. It's not your income with Beachbody. And it's not any of those things. Not being a cab member, $1 million earner, a top 10 coach. That is not success. Success is knowing what your purpose is, growing yourself daily, contributing to others, and working every single day in that role of what you do as a coach, and the action steps of what you do as a coach. So a lot of you guys know, and to lead into this, like, if you're lacking confidence as a coach, or you are not disciplined as a coach, or you're not fulfilled as a coach, it's most likely because you know what you do as a coach and not why you do it. So what you do as a coach is you talk about your fitness, you drink Shakeology, you talk to people and invite them to join your team as a customer or a challenger or a coach. That's what you do, right? Or you recruit coaches to your team and you train them and run coach basics. So that's what you do, but why do you do it? Like, why are you a team Beachbody coach? So I'm going to tell you guys, I wish I had this image up and that it worked, but it's a picture of me hugging my daughter out in front of the school bus. And Gabby took the photo. I didn't even know it existed until I asked her if she had any photos of that. But the day that I discovered why I knew what I did as a coach, I'm going to lead into it just briefly. Like Lindsay said, I had an awesome transformation with P90X. And it was just in 90 days, I went from 187 pounds to 145. So I lost a lot of weight. I had abs for the first time in my life. I started to gain this sense of self-esteem. And the cool thing is that I found out, right, through my coach, Lindsay, that if I helped enough people get results with P90X like I did, that I could bring my wife home from work. So I decided, 8 months after we first had the conversation, 8-9 months, that I would do whatever it took, like no excuses, whatever it took to be able to bring my wife home from work. She worked at Hilton Garden Inn. I wanted, we never spent time together. I spent 12 hours a day at work. She spent 8 hours at night. We weren't raising our children together. And I knew that's not how I was supposed to be living life. And so I knew that this was my answer. This was the thing that I was supposed to do, or the answer I've been praying for, to be able to bring her home from work so that we could spend that time together, raise our kids together at night. Now, at that time, these first 8-9 months of coaching, I didn't know that this is something I want to do with the rest of my life. And that's the day I want to tell you guys about, the day that I found out why. It was actually 8 months, seems to be a common denominator. It was 8 months into my coach journey. So I've been a coach. I went diamond in 93 days. I hit Success Club 10 for 8 months in a row. So I knew I was bringing my wife home. And I'm going to tell you guys, it was hard. I was sacrificing a ton. I was not sleeping very much. I was having to learn how to use Facebook and all these things, right? And it was hard. But the day I found out why, it was 8 months in, and I had what I like to call the man cold, where I got sick and I was sleeping and resting for about 3 days. I missed work, so that was extra stressful. So it probably prolonged my sickness. But at that time, Gabby came into my room. It was a Friday afternoon. She said, hey, maybe you'll start to feel better if you get up, get dressed, and start walking around. So I did. I got dressed. I started walking around. She's like, hey, Keena's going to get off the school bus here in like 5 minutes. So, you get your coat on, you go walk down to the school bus and get Keena. So at that moment, I got dressed and I walked outside. I started walking down the cul-de-sac, and I'm looking at the cul-de-sac right now at this front window. And I'm walking down and I see the bus pulls up. The school bus pulls up. I remember it like it was yesterday. You know that sound when the bus stops and you can hear the squeak sound of the door opening. I remember even to that detail, but I remember most my daughter, Kina, a little 5-year-old girl. I remember seeing her face. I see her grab onto the little handles, walk down the stairs, and she looked up at me, and immediately I broke into tears. I had tears streaming down my face, and it stopped me in my tracks. And the smile that she gave me was is probably the expression of most joy in any human I've ever seen in my entire life, to see her daddy standing there waiting for her to get off the school bus. And it was that moment that I began to question myself and ask myself these questions, like, why, like, how many of moments like this have you missed in your life? How many moments like this has Gabby missed because she's working at night? And so it was that moment that I decided that I never wanted to miss another moment like that, that I wanted to not only bring Gabby home, but I wanted to do this for my full-time job so I could take my kids to the bus, so I could bring them home from off the bus, so I could go to Donuts with Daddy, so I could go watch them perform in the auditorium, in the gymnasium, the songs that they learned in music class, that I never wanted to miss one of those moments in my life. And I realized at that moment that if somebody like me, Scotty, this failure that had been through so many things in his life, could do that, if I could do it, that I could teach, mentor, help, and inspire other people, other parents to do that in their life as well. So I will put a link in Lindsay's page, but I have 6 questions that I want you to answer. I'm going to read them to you now. It's, who are you? Number 2, what do you do? Number 3, what do you enjoy? Number 4, who do you help? Number 5, what do they need? And number 6, how does their life change with what you offer? So what I want you guys to know is I am not the stories that I used to tell myself. I do not sell challenge packs. I do not recruit coaches. Those are some of the things that I do, but that's not who I am. I am Scotty Hobbs. I'm the husband of Gabby and the father of 5 beautiful, gorgeous, and intelligent children. I'm an entrepreneur who invests in myself and other people. I love personal growth. I love health. I love fitness. I love camping, fishing, hiking, spending time in the outdoors. I love wrestling my kids. I love tickling them and rolling around on the floor with them. I love staying up late with them to watch movies and cuddle and eat popcorn. I love teaching people how to use their personal life story and experiences to help other people believe in themselves and find more happiness, joy, and purpose in this life. I help parents, you guys on this call, and people that have not met me yet, know deep inside that there's a better way to live life and provide for your families. I do it so that children can grow up. I do it so children can grow up knowing their parents, and so that parents can be great role models for their children. These parents need more positive relationships and role models in their lives, and I'm that person. They need people who support them in going after their dreams. They need people who challenge them to set goals and go after things in their life. They need people who challenge them to grow. They need people who encourage them to face their fears. They need people who love them for being vulnerable about who they are. They need a way to get out of debt. They need a way to build a retirement. They need a way to create more time, like I did, to spend time with those that they love the most, and that is their family. They want more time with their children and less time at work. And when they embrace this style, this way of life, and what I have to offer them through my YouTube channel and through the posts on Facebook and through meeting me at a restaurant table, they find a sense of purpose in their life. They find happiness and joy in their everyday encounters with life, and they become victors rather than victims. They become more healthy, fit, vibrant, and they bring a spirit of positivity and hope into this world, which is greatly needed. They find a positive channel or platform called Beachbody, where they can funnel their energy and share their story and message, which makes a real impact on this world. And when they do that, they're able to gain more control of their time and what they do with their time. When this happens, they're able to reach and impact more people on a bigger level. And when they do that, they have more time to spend with those that matter most in their life. And that is who I am as a coach. And that is why 5 years later, I am still, driving at this thing just as hard, waking up and hustling and working on my goals and helping other people every single day at the same level and intensity as I did 5 years ago. So if you've ever been that person that's hustling on a Monday or Tuesday, and then you fall off track, and then you jump back on in another week, or you never really knew exactly why you do what you do, or if you've never been able to connect with the people on a deeper level that makes them go out and invest in themselves with this company, Team Beachbody, but more importantly with you as their coach, mentor, and friend, I want to challenge you guys to find your purpose in life. And it's those 6 questions that I asked, or that I gave to you guys and presented to you guys. And I have it just in like a Google Drive, so I can send a link to that, so you guys can have that and work on filling that out, so you can know exactly why it is what you do. Because when you're clear on your purpose, you can wake up every single. That's why I'm successful today. I'm already successful today because I've woke up, I got clear on that purpose, and I'm taking the action steps necessary. And it's not about the results; it's about working towards that. Progressive realization of a worthy ideal, I believe, is a definition I've heard of success before in this life. So those are the questions I want to leave, but I want you guys to know that you're responsible for discovering what it is your purpose in life. And with that, I'm going to give you 5 other things. I used to just always preach, but I've gotten better in the past 5 years in giving people actionable steps. So I want you to answer those 6 questions, so you can know why it is that you do what you do, so that you can become disciplined and be able to reach and touch people on a deeper level. And then I want you guys to ask these 5 questions to yourself every single day. So the first one is, what is your reason or why? This is for you to hold yourself accountable every single day. Number 1, what is your reason or your why? That's your purpose that you're going to fill out in this little worksheet. Number 2, what is your IQ level? And this is kind of a trick question. IQ level means your I quit level. At what level do you quit working towards your purpose and say, this is not worth it, this is not who I really want to be? It's a trick question. Remember that. And I'll give you an example. I will never quit. I will never quit working towards that purpose that I shared with you guys. Number 3, who do you need to associate with today to grow? And if you are the smartest person in the room or in a group, you're in the wrong group. So make sure that you're always being around people that will challenge you to grow. So number 4, what am I willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice today to have what you want in the future for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and the legacy that you're going to leave? Number 5, who is counting on you to make this happen? Who is counting on you to show up every single day and hustle towards this dream? You guys have the opportunity with this company and with Lindsay as your upline to make your dream a reality, whatever that is. So those are the 5 questions I want you to ask yourself, that you can hold yourself accountable to your purpose and your reason and your goals every single day. So I want to thank you guys for the opportunity for letting me share today. And thank you, Lindsay, for having me on your call.
Dude, you never disappoint, and you definitely made me cry. So it's like, and a lot of other women, as I saw in the chat, were like, eh. But seriously, thank you so much for sharing so authentically the way that you always do. And we just